Baseball and barbecue listeners, we often get asked, how do you get your amazing guests? And it's just unbelievable how we get some of our guests. But some of them you fall into it. There's someone who I met on Facebook. It's our guest tonight. And we say everyone has a story. And he has a unique story. And he's going to tell his story. He's the perfect guest. And you know what we talk about as the perfect guest. He has a love of baseball. He has a love of barbecue. He excels at both of them. And he's from Ohio. So
Most points.
all of you listeners know that Ohio is the state that I love. So we are very excited. He sent us his bio, a short bio, so I will read it so you guys will know what you're in for. Kelly Belly Barbecue is a social media barbecue content creator and pitmaster that happens to also love baseball and collecting baseball cards. Kelly's content is focused on teaching people how to make world-class barbecue in their own backyard with the equipment they have. You can find Kelly Belly Barbecue on most social platforms with a simple Google search. Who are we talking about? We're talking about Kelly Kammann, who is he is Kelly Belly Barbecue. So rather than me just going on and on talking about someone who I want to get to know better, why don't we all get to know him better? So here we go. Kelly Belly Barbecue, Kelly Kammann, welcome to the Baseball and Barbecue Podcast.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. And it's funny because I told people I was coming on this podcast. I'm like, this podcast was designed for me. I mean, it's literally barbecue and baseball. I mean, this is me.
Excellent.
When Jeff and I put this podcast together, we're in our 9th year, way over 300 episodes. We actually said Kelly Kammann is the perfect guest. It just took a long time to find you and get you on. So we finally did it, Jeff. We can now drop the mic. We're done.
There you go. I usually do drop the mic sometimes. So.
That's funny.
Yeah. So Kelly, welcome to Baseball and BBQ.
Yeah.
You're from Ohio, Powell, Ohio. Now, I'm not sure where that is in relation to Cincinnati or Cleveland. So tell us about your baseball fandom.
Well, first of all, I'll tell you where I'm at. Powell, Ohio is in Columbus. It's in the dead center of the state. And I went to Ohio State for undergrad and a little school called Otterbein College for my grad school.
All right.
So you may have heard of this. But I think I've got a couple of interesting stories as it relates to baseball that, Leonard, you don't even know all this stuff yet. So I moved to Ohio when I was 16. And prior to that, I lived in a little town called Lakeland, Florida. Oh. And the thing that's interesting about Lakeland, Florida, it's where the Detroit Tigers do spring training. Mm-hmm. And it's about 10 minutes away from where the Reds do spring training in Plant City. And lucky enough for me, that led to a lot of interactions and stories around baseball and players from the Tigers and the Reds growing up. So I've got quite a few. My coach, my Little League coach, actually was a pastor for the Detroit Tigers. Yeah. So when we talk about, like who taught me to play baseball, well, a guy named Matt Noakes taught me how to catch. If you ever heard of Matt Noakes.
We just had him on the podcast.
You're
Hasn't
kidding.
been released yet, but we just had him on. Just spoke to him like last week.
I think if I remember right, in 1989, he hit 29 home runs and was like second in the Rookie of the Year voting.
Yes, to Mark McGwire.
So I remember not only did he teach me how to catch, but we went rowing a rowboat around the lake for whatever reason afterwards. Frank Tanana and Ed Woodson taught me how to pitch, and
not bad.
No, and the guy who taught me how to hit was Lou Whitaker. And Lou Whitaker was not one of our assistant coaches because our coaches, like I said, our coach was a pastor, right? So Lou Whitaker was not of that faith tradition. He was of a different faith tradition. But he saw me enough at games, and his kids went to school with us. So he saw my face around quite a bit. And then I remember one time I'm sitting there playing basketball in my friend's driveway, and here comes some dude rolling up in a fancy ass Mercedes. It's Lou Whitaker. I'm like, hey Lou, how are you? And he's like, I recognize you guys. I'm looking for my dog. It got out and lost. So if you can help me try to find my dog, I'd appreciate it. And I remember we didn't find his dog, but then a couple months later, I just went to the local batting cage. Lou Whitaker's in the batting cage taking batting practice by himself. Nobody's around.
No
He
dog?
sees me.
Did he
No,
find his dog?
he found the dog. I
Okay,
didn't find it for him.
but he didn't bring it to the batting cage.
He
Okay.
didn't bring it to the back. But obviously, I'm watching Lou Whitaker hitting the batting cage, and he recognizes me, and he's like, "How about a batting lesson?" I mean, what else do you want? That was awesome.
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
Kelly, you are. We'll stay on baseball for a while. Um, still didn't. I mean, Lakeland, Florida. We still haven't established though. You're from Ohio now. Lakeland, Florida. I guess Detroit Tigers fandom. Is that who you're rooting for now? If
We don't have a team, which
no
sounds
team?
crazy. And I have like four teams I'm vested in. Okay. So I grew up a Cubs fan, and that's painful. And I feel like when they finally won, I buried the ghost mostly. It's like, okay, I can move on to other things. And one of the other things I moved on to was the Braves for one big reason. First of all, my family all moved down to Atlanta in the last 25 years. And I was going down to Atlanta a lot for work. So, hey, that was kind of cool. But the coach's son that I was talking about, the coach, right? My Little League coach's son, he played about 15 years of pro ball, and about 10 of those were for the Braves.
Oh, really?
So I'm like, I got a guy I played with for years. I remember like we went to a game and I went down to like the usher or whatever by the dugout. I'm like, tell Matty Diaz that Kelly Cammons here. He wants to say hi. He's like, come on, man. Come on. We don't do that shit. I'm like, I promise you, he will know who I am. It's like, when was the last time you talked to him? I'm like 25 years ago. I'm like, but he'll know who he did. He came out of the dugout, said hi. It was great, you know?
Nice. Nice.
So I care about the Braves, and then I always like the Reds and the Tigers for those reasons. I mean, I had eggnog in Barry Larkin's house on Christmas Eve.
Wow.
That's another story for later, maybe.
Well,
Okay.
there there's no time like later in the present. So
All right, so let's get at it. All
yeah,
right,
Kelly Larkin eggnog. Go ahead.
So my grandma lived across the street from Barry Larkin when he first came up to the Reds, and at that point, you know, he's like a rookie. He doesn't make money. You know, he's living in what today is probably a $300,000 condo. You know, something very appropriate for somebody like that. And I never met him, but I remember like at spring training, I'd meet him a couple of times. I go, hey, I'm Harriet's grandson, you know, and he'd say hi to me and give me an autograph or whatever. But I remember I still live in Florida, but we're up in Cincinnati for Christmas. And I'm like, Grandma, I'm going to go across the street and say hi to Barry Larkin. And she's like, well, first of all, it's Christmas Eve. Second of all, he hasn't lived there in like 6 years. Okay. He gave the house to his brother, Mike, and he moved out because he's a big superstar now. I'm like, crap. I'm still going to try. But I knocked on the door. Guess who was visiting his brother, Mike?
Ah, very
Yeah.
nice.
So went in, got another autograph, and you know, got some eggnog. It was just I was very lucky to have gotten a lot of those types of experiences.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll show you something I got right here, by the way. Just you'll recognize this.
Look at that.
Al
Al
Kaline
Kaline.
signed this.
Wow,
Yeah,
nice.
Nice.
signed this bat for me.
By the
That's my
way,
favorite autograph. But yeah, what's
I
the
am
by the
going to
way?
guess. I'm going to guess because you said guess who's across the street. Barry Larkin. We didn't guess, so I'm going to guess. It was Barry Larkin, right?
Absolutely.
See?
Absolutely.
See, Jeff, you're not the only one who knows things.
That is not my favorite autograph. My favorite autograph I ever had was we went like 2 or 3 years of not being able to get Cecil Fielder's autograph. He would leave as soon as he could. He wouldn't sign. And he was the biggest name on the Tigers for a few years.
Yeah.
Remember, he had like 51 home runs back in, I don't know what it was, 88, 89, something like that. So we basically figured out we had to have a better plan. So the better plan was we got like a spotter, like he's leaving, right? And the rest of us are in the car already. So we basically take off after him, end up going about 100 miles an hour down the freeway until I pulled up alongside him. I got the other guy in the passenger seat had a ball and a pen holding it out the window, as I'm like driving alongside of him. And he sees it and he pulls over and he signs our baseballs for us.
That's pretty
Wow.
cool. Did
And
now
his kid was in the car too, by the way. I should have got the kid's autograph too.
Yeah.
did you
right?
Kelly? Did you get anything? Excuse me. Anything signed by Barry Larkin? Who, by the way,
Yeah.
for anyone wondering, Barry Larkin is in the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, he's a gentleman too, by the way.
I mean, he was the real deal. So I'm sure that condo that he gave his brother, I'm sure I'm sure he
Where
did
is this
okay.
thing? I want to find this because I want to show you guys. It's kind of funny, actually. Give me half a second to locate it. Okay. So here we go. I didn't really get him signed the way you should have back in the day. It was just on a little notepad.
Okay, there you
Best
go.
wishes, Barry
Yeah.
Larkin. But this is the other one I got that's funny.
Oh, Marge
One
Shot.
shot.
Okay,
She made her dog
Shotzi.
sign it. Yeah, she
But-
drew a paw print.
Right. I was gonna no, she didn't draw that. That was her dog,
That was the dog.
Shotzi. Right? Wasn't the dog Shotzi?
Yeah, you remember.
Of course. How could I not? I mean, Marge Schott, who was suspended from baseball
She was
for,
an
if I
notoriously
remember,
bad person.
yeah, she what? Say it again. I stepped
She was
on it.
unfortunately a notoriously bad person.
Yeah, I think didn't she collect like Nazi memorabilia?
I don't know, but she made some very, I don't want to say regretful, is a stronger word than that. Some pretty horrific comments about Jews and blacks and just
Yeah, she was.
some disgusting stuff.
Yeah, I remember a lot when that was all going on. I remember listening to various radio programs, and they would do impressions of her, and yeah, it was. Yeah, she was. Yeah, Marge Schott was not. Was not.
It's not a
well,
role model.
Yeah, no. But that's fascinating. Now, all right. So we'll stay on baseball, and then we'll get to barbecue. Maybe we'll keep switching around. Who knows? But
Let's mix it up.
you are a collector of baseball cards.
New to it, though, believe it or not. So I
Okay.
collected as a kid, and I stopped probably in 1990. And I had suitcases of baseball cards. And as I'm sure you know, almost nothing from that time period is worth anything.
Right.
It's just not. So when I moved a couple of years ago, I broke it up into different boxes, if you will, and I gave it all away to about 10 different kids. Thousands of cards, tens of thousands of cards. And it wasn't anything valuable, but someone did that for me once when I was a kid. The guy across the street who I didn't know handed me a box of 1960s baseball cards. So I felt like it was my duty to pass it on the same. So I was away from it. And then like 6 months ago, I just decided to start collecting cards again. And now I'm crazy about it. Like I'm on whatnot auctions. I'm buying, I'm selling, because I'll just be honest with you guys, like financially, things have not been great the last couple of years. And the reason I mention that is that there's no budget to buy baseball cards. So the only way I can afford to buy cards is if I buy low, sell high, keep a little bit in the process, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, it's a good hobby, but yeah, if you're gonna buy and sell, it's a tough market, I guess.
Yeah, you're making 10%, 20%, maybe if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But I think I sold a few $1,000s of cards last month.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
And somehow that netted me a Nolan Ryan autograph,
Oh, there you go.
Pete Rose autograph I picked up in the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it's fun. I mean, I'm not doing it to make money.
Right.
I'm doing it to collect a little bit with no budget.
Yeah, no, I go to these baseball card shows once in a while, and I see how much they are, and I just can't. I just
Oh,
can't.
here's the most Jeff, here's the most disgusting part about it, okay? You've got, I'll take Connor Griffin as an example, okay? Connor Griffin's autographed rookie card, first and foremost, sells for more than Bobby Witt's autographed rookie card. I mean, give me a break. Guy's already a proven superstar, top 5 player. Why is Connor Griffin's card worth as much? The second point is both of these guys' cards are worth 100 plus times what rookie cards worth in the 80s of Hall of Famers. So you go and go, oh, here's McGuire's rookie card, or here's Tony Gwynn's rookie card. It's $10, it's $15, and Bobby Witt's is $1,500.
But why is that, Kelly? Why
crazy.
is that?
supply and demand, not even demand, it's supply. Okay. So like a Bobby Witt rookie card that's signed, there's going to be like 1,000 copies of that. Whereas a Tony Gwynn rookie card from 1983, they might have printed 2 million of them.
Hmm.
So even though time has taken place and many of them have gotten in bad condition, when you throw it, it's almost like, survival of the fittest from a species standpoint. Some creatures will have thousands of offspring versus like humans have one or two. But why? It's their competitive strategy that while most of these won't make it, a handful will, and the species keeps on perpetuating. Same concept with the old cards. There are just so many of them that there's still just a gazillion high quality versions of them, and they're just not of some of the new guys because they're intentionally restraining supply.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Kelly, I mean, really, if anybody's who tuned in today want to hear barbecue, we have a surprise for you. Actually, we're gonna, if we can, I'd like to ask you a couple of things about barbecue before we
Let's
get
do it.
back
That's
to
my
baseball.
favorite thing to talk about.
You do
Barbecue's
have,
my passion.
yes, you do have your Facebook page is Kelly Kammann. You do have an Instagram, which I played around with looking. And could you tell us about the brisket you made for a wedding?
That was cool. So it was a funny thing. So this is a lady I've known on Facebook for like 10 or 15 years who I never once met in person. But like I got to know her pretty well. And she was getting married and she's like, I'd like some brisket for my wedding. And I'm like, so here's the deal. Just pay for the meat, like not like what I would charge for, but just literally pay for the meat and I'll take care of the rest for you. So, that's, $80 or whatever for a big old brisket when you go to the store.
Hmm.
And she covered that and I spent a day cooking it. You cook it right. I mean, that brisket, I think I had that thing on the smoker for 16 hours and then I rested it for like 10 hours. And by resting it, like when you rest, at least when I rest a brisket, it's not as simple as, oh, you put it on the counter and just leave it there. No, I put it in the oven at like 145 degrees
Oh, really? Okay.
because, well, a couple things. First of all, from a food safety standpoint, you need to keep your meat above 145
Hmm.
to keep it food safe. So once it drops below that, it's now in what they call the danger zone, which means it's technically safe to eat for 4 hours. But after that, it's not. So if you let it, just sit out and go to room temperature, not only is it not going to taste as fresh, but it's technically and possibly not safe anymore to eat. So you put it in the oven at 145. So you take the brisket off, it's at 200. Stick in that oven at 145. It's going to ride 7, 8 hours before it gets down to 145. And it's not going to keep cooking the brisket. The brisket's done cooking. It's literally just keeping it warm. So you're not overcooking it. But so I did that. And I had to drive like an hour out to find her wedding because they got married at a barn in the middle of nowhere, like an hour away. And like the GPS directions had like approximations. Like somewhere in the next mile on the right, there's going to be like a dirt road. You got to turn on it. Like it was one of those, but it was a beautiful wedding place. And it was just sort of like my opportunity to make content for me and be a blessing to somebody else. Someone, frankly, was doing a wedding on a budget and I was able to help them do a wedding on a budget.
And you did that. You made tacos with that, didn't you? Or
Well, yeah,
didn't the
they had
the
a taco
guests?
bar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
this is the funny part, and I love this part. So they had all kinds of chopped chicken, right? They had everything they needed for the taco bar. The brisket was extra meat. Guess what was completely gone? The
The good
brisket,
of course.
and then the chicken's all still there.
Right,
I
right.
was very proud of myself. Like, yeah, they got leftover chicken. They don't have leftover brisket.
Right. So you said this barbecue's your passion. So tell us, how did you get into barbecue?
Um, well, I'll tell you this. Over the last, I won't give you the last few years. I'll get to that in a minute. But over the last 15, 20 years, I made a lot of bad barbecue. And that's how you learn. Like, I wanted to make barbecue in the backyard. I had a smoker. I didn't have, well, it's not like we didn't have the internet, but I didn't turn to the internet. I didn't do anything. I just learned myself how not to make barbecue and how to make good barbecue eventually. So at that point, probably 3 years ago, I realized I'm now very good at making barbecue. I've figured it out. I'm very good at it. And I was dealing with, not to get too deep on you guys, but I was dealing with some depression and some anxiety problems. And for me, I needed an outlet. I needed some way of helping process those emotions and having something to do that fed the good things in my life. So I think it was about a year and a half ago. I woke up one day and I told my wife, I'm like, I'm going to try to become an internet barbecue celebrity. She laughed at me, and she should have, because I knew I didn't make good barbecue by then, but I had no idea how to film a video. I had no idea how to edit a video. If you saw some of my early work, it looked, and the barbecue was good, but the videos were awful, awful videos. Um, but I kept at it, and it was like therapy for me. When I would go make barbecue, I'm managing a fire. I'm working on, it's like a piece of art, like I want this to come out perfect. And then it was like, now I want not only the meat to come out perfect, but I want my videos to come out as good as they can be. And what does that look like? Well, they got to have good audio video quality, first of all. Like it can't have bad visuals. So it was a challenge. I had to work on my craft of making and filming better and editing better and all that kind of stuff. And that was fun for me. And that was therapeutic for me. So really, that's what got me into trying to do barbecue stuff, was this wacky dream that somehow it's going to become a famous barbecue celebrity one day. I guess I still have that dream, but I've also toned it down with a little bit of reality. I no longer actually expect that to happen, but I don't know. I have, in the last year and a half, I have become friends with some pretty big time barbecue guys. I'm talking about guys that they can make a full-time living just as a barbecue celebrity. That's not easy to do. I mean, you got to have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers for that stuff. And these guys actually consider me a friend, and they talk to me, they call me, they give me tips. I don't know. I'm very thankful for it, just to be blunt. I'm very appreciative of the fact that somehow, some way, some people I respect the hell out of apparently thinks I'm not too bad either.
Care to give us some of those names, Kelly?
Sure. So one of the guys I absolutely love, his name's Cooking with Kunchi. So it's Cooking with WID Kunchi, Kunchi. He's out of Florida. He's a Jamaican guy. Grew up in Jamaica and then moved to the States. Absolutely wonderful human being. Cooks great barbecue, makes great videos. There's another guy named Tom who has a place called the Gallery Backyard Barbecue. He's I think what we all look up to. He's really making a living at this. He's got a podcast. He's got brand sponsorships like crazy. Like, he's doing a great job. There's another guy named Kenneth Cunningham who runs a Facebook page called North Texas Barbecue Addicts. I think they've got 500,000 followers, and just great guy. He's hooked me up. I've got sponsors. This is the thing that's so crazy to me. I've actually got real sponsors, and I'm not just talking about all the rubs. I mean, we were talking about that before we got started. People every month. My wife's like, "Well, we got in our package. Who's sending you rubs and sauces now?" And that's awesome. But beyond that, I got a full-time charcoal sponsor. So the Good Charcoal Company sponsors me. Unlimited free charcoal. So, I mean, that's not inexpensive.
Yeah, they're good guys.
So,
we talked to who Len was Ben Jablonski of the Good Charcoal
Yes,
Company.
yes.
and then a Don.
Yeah,
We also met them at the
barbecue festival.
yeah, there was a big barbecue festival here on Long
There was
Island.
one in Long Island. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, this was a big festival. Yeah. Well, it
They're
sounds
great
amazing.
guys.
Sounds like you're doing great. Oh, drop a name that will just blow us away. Go ahead. Come on.
So I forget the name of the show. It was on Netflix. It was a series I think it was called Backyard Barbecue Brawl.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
sure.
know if you ever. Okay, so they have multiple seasons. It's like Survivor. There's like a dozen cooks, and they cut one. You're fired like every week until there's one left. Well, the guy who won it last season is a guy named Thyron Matthews.
Right, we
Thyron and I are
interviewed him.
friends.
Right. Yes.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
Thyron. Thyron and I are
yeah.
friends now, and it blows my mind that I talk to him all the time, and we're friends.
Yeah. We've had people on from we're not going to drop names because you're the guest and we asked you to drop names, but a certain John Marcus, ring a bell?
Don't know that name.
But don't, Kelly, stop. Barbecue Pitmasters?
You've seen a show.
Barbecue
Oh,
Pitmasters. John Marcus created
okay.
it.
I know that show. Okay. I don't remember who the guy's name is who
No,
created it.
but he's in that. He's in the baseball. He's in the Barbecue Hall of Fame. John Marcus. Actually, a lot of people we speak to that are big into barbecue will say, or competition barbecue, we'll ask them, how did you get into it? And they say, oh, I used to watch a show called Barbecue Pitmasters. That was,
I gotta look it up
yeah, Barbecue
for
Pitmasters.
sure.
Harry Sue was on that. Anyway,
You guys
yeah,
have had some big names.
yeah, but it's not about us. I mean, we
I
you,
want to name drop one other one because he's
please.
not big, but he's the guy. I'm telling you, I'm mostly involved with the TikTok community. I'm on all the platforms. Like I said, if
Hmm.
you Google Kelly Belly Barbecue,
Right.
I'm easy to find. But the guy that all of us in the community, so to speak, love and adore and want to see be successful is a guy named the Smokin' Pastor.
Okay.
Okay.
So the Smokin' Pastor is out of Indianapolis, Indiana. His real name's Jordan. Jordan, I mean, he makes good barbecue, but his mission, his goal, his everything is he wants to raise money, raise his profile so that he can provide free barbecue meals to people who are homeless, first responders, food pantries. That's his dream. That's his goal. How can I feed the hungry with barbecue and spread the love?
That's a beautiful thing.
Hmm.
That's a very special thing.
Why do you think we all want to see him be so successful?
Of course, of course.
Yeah, he's an
Yeah.
amazing guy.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, that is terrific. Now, Kelly, so let's get to you put videos out there.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw one where you were sitting with a gentleman in Ohio. I think it was something about barbecue. It was what separates craft barbecue from crap
Craft.
barbecue, right? So
Yeah, I'm
what does
laughing because
separate it?
sadly that gentleman went out of business a couple months ago.
Really? So
Yeah.
did he have crap barbecue? I
No,
mean,
he had good barbecue, and one of the lessons learned there. So let me answer your question, and then I'll tell you the lessons learned.
mhm.
So what really separates craft from crap is you've got to use a real wood fire. And I'm not going to knock pellet grills. I mean, I'm going to at least call those acceptable, but you got to use real wood. You got to smoke low and slow, and you can't slather it down with sauce. To me, sauce is fully acceptable, but all good barbecue has to be good without sauce. So if you want to slather it down, great. But if you have to slather it down, you have failed. Does that make sense?
Of
Yes.
course.
Yeah.
Sauce should be a complement to the meat,
An
not an
optional
overpowering.
compliment.
A
Yeah.
what?
An optional compliment.
Well, I I have
I
to tell
love
you, Kelly,
sauce. I love
my
sauce.
yes, and my wife loves sauce. So here's the thing about sauce. Let's talk about sauce for a little bit. I did go through like I personally sometimes like it just like ribs. Sometimes I don't like all the sauce, and I just like
Mhm.
the rib with the rub, and that's it. But I live in a house with my wife who loves sauce. So then I would make the food, and then I would serve the sauce on the side. I'd even heat the sauce up.
That's how you
It's
should
not
do
the
it.
same. It's not the same because and she pointed it out to me, and of course she was right. When you're cooking the item in the sauce or with the sauce, it it becomes part of the meat,
Acts
right?
up. Well,
Right. It
I think that only
caramelizes.
applies on I'll put it this way. I think that only applies to ribs, though.
Not
Really.
chicken. Not chicken.
I don't think so. Oh, actually, no. When I do my thighs, I do tack up too. I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah.
We'll talk
So
about how I do chicken sauce, by the way, separately. That's another topic.
okay. Well,
But
but yeah. So it is funny though because like you go to some barbecue restaurants. Jeff and I have been to numerous ones, and they'll, a lot of times they have bottles of sauce on the side. So, but yeah, it's the sauce. If the sauce is used right, my opinion is it complements the meat. It shouldn't overpower it, and but the serving it on the side or serving it on and I'm sure we'll get some comments from some. We have pit masters that join us uh, all the time on this show. Doug Scheiding, Ray Sheehan are two that are very much part of this show, and I'm sure that they will comment. Ray has his own lineup of sauces. Doug has his own lineup of rubs. So they all, I'm sure they have opinions on that. So you love sauce, but would you rather serve the meat with the sauce on the side or with the sauce on it?
Depends on the protein. So on ribs, I actually like my ribs competition style.
Okay.
And part of what goes into competition style is you want to glaze your ribs with sauce and give it 15 minutes or so to tack up. Tack up meaning become a little less runny and a little bit more glue-like on the
Yes,
meat.
I like that too.
That's actually, and I prefer bite off the bone than fall off the bone. So that's the key to ribs to me. When I do pulled pork, when I do brisket, I do not sauce at all
Yeah,
whatsoever. To me, like it's a
right.
no-no.
I agree with
Uh,
you.
I do cheat a little bit when I do pulled pork. I don't sauce,
Hmm.
but I do use a little bit of tart cherry juice.
Okay.
Now, so when I'm doing the shred, you got the claw, I got the claws, or I got the bone out, and I'm shredding it all. I add a little bit of tart cherry juice, and tart cherry juice is it's just going to add a little moisture. It's going to add a hint of that tart cherry flavor, but it's not going to be like you sauced it. You ever been to a barbecue joint where they sauce the pulled pork?
Yes.
That to me is a no-no. You can't pre-sauce pulled pork, but you can add just a dash of cherry juice and you get away with it.
Right. Right.
That,
Yeah.
that's my personal take on it. Chicken, it's interesting you bring up chicken. So I've experimented with some sauces and I came up with a chicken sauce. I kid you not, it is out of this world. And everybody who's tried it thinks it's out of this world. So I know it's not just me being biased. I'm a big fan of fruit forward. So that's why, for example, I mentioned when I do my pulled pork, I add a touch of tart cherry. But I like that fruit forward flavor. Like my favorite off the shelf sauce is raspberry chipotle from Blues Hawk. I'm sure you're familiar with that one,
Hmm.
right?
Sure.
Right.
Great sauce. So my chicken sauce is basically, I call it H2O, hot honey orange. It's concentrated orange juice with butter, honey, garlic, and some heat and some spices. So it makes it just tastes like this garlicky, spicy, honey orange delightfulness. And that's my chicken sauce. So if I'm doing chicken thighs, I like to paint it a little bit at the end to let it tack up. So it's funny you said not on chicken. And I'm like thinking, no, not on chicken, because I'm thinking like doing a whole chicken or a whole turkey. I don't do that. But when I do my chicken thighs and my chicken wings, I absolutely tack it up and paint with my sauce.
Would you mind giving us your chicken thigh or chicken wing recipe?
Yeah, it's actually pretty simple. So you go buy a can of orange juice concentrate. You know what I'm talking about, the frozen
Hmm.
can orange juice concentrate. And I forget if that's 12 or 16 ounces, but it's a standard size. So buy a can of that. I add about 3 to 4 ounces of honey. I add one full stick of butter. I add 4 to 6 cloves of crushed garlic or jarlic, depending on how you like it. And then I'll just hit it with like my hot sauce. Like if I'm really taking my time, I'll put some spices. I'll do some jalapeno or habaneros in it. But really, what I do most of the time is I just do it really simple, and I'll just hit it with some hot sauce, maybe about an ounce to 2 ounces of hot sauce. So you got the can of orange juice, you got a stick of butter, 3 to 4 ounces of honey, some garlic, and then hit it with your favorite type of hot sauce. And the reason I say your favorite type of hot sauce is it's not just about the heat. You want to kind of get your own flavor profile to some degree. Some people prefer jalapeno versus habanero. If I'm going to tell you what to do, I would go with habanero or Scotch bonnets. I think that tastes the best in it. When I make it, I use a habanero or Scotch bonnet based hot sauce. But honestly, any type of hot sauce you want to put in it, you're just adding that balance to the whole equation.
Cool.
Try it, by the way. I'm
Okay.
telling you, you'd
All
Well,
love
right.
it.
Jeff asked for the recipe. He better try it now.
I
So,
am serious. It is good.
yeah.
Uh,
Ke-
I got
Kelly.
another one I'm working on. It's
Oh,
not
go
there
ahead.
yet. I
Oh,
would say I got another one I'm
oh,
working on. It's not there yet, but
right.
this one is there. I've got this one
Hmm.
dialed in, and it's very simple. You should definitely give it a shot.
Okay. All righty.
Now, interesting with ribs because ribs are one of my favorite foods. I absolutely anytime I can have ribs, I love it. I will eat it, where it pulls from the bone, has that slight tug, competition style ribs, fall off the bone. I don't care. I just love ribs. But what's funny is, and you say you cook your ribs competition style, as far as that goes. The one thing when you make ribs that people they when you're making ribs for company, they love when they're fall off the bone. For the most
Oh,
part,
I
they
know, you're right.
they
Have you
say
seen the stats on it?
I haven't. I didn't even know there were stats on it.
Oh
So
yeah, like there's been polls done. There's been polls done. 85% of people prefer fall off the bone.
yeah, and
It
they
drives me nuts.
right, and they say what is the comment you get? Oh, these ribs are so good. They're fall off the bone. They love fall off the bone. So, but the funny thing is, competition, and this could take us on a whole nother path. And as a matter of
We can
fact,
go down.
when we're the this will be released after the episode we had on Mr. Brisket, and we speak about competition barbecue and how competition barbecue has become so um, formulaic. It's
Literally the word I was going to use.
yeah, and and Mr. Brisket, they supply a lot of meats for the barbecue competitions and all that. So, but we talk about that because and it's really, he says, it's a tenderness competition. That's what it's become. But all these competitions, they want the ribs that have the tug, but that's not what people want. And it's just funny that competition and what people want, or the tastes they want, are different. Like the other thing you hear all the time
Flavor
is
profiles.
right. And they say, well, with competition ribs, you wouldn't want to eat a rack of them. You would just want to eat, one or two
Oh,
ribs.
I love that you're bringing this up. This doesn't just apply to ribs either. Like I've talked to my friends because I've done one comp, and I remember talking to all my friends about it ahead of time and this and that, and they're like, "Well, to your point, it's a one bite comp, right? Like this is not something you want to eat a lot of." I'm like, that to me sounds like a bunch of BS. Part of my language.
I
To
agree
me,
with you.
I want to be judged like very simply on this. What is the best tasting rib or whatever it is, but in this case ribs, what is the best tasting one? If mine tastes the best and they like it the best, it shouldn't matter that it's a different flavor profile, it's bite off or fall off, or none of that should matter. Like I ended up coming, I was proud of myself, so I went to this comp. There were 19 teams there, and you know what I mean when I say teams, right?
Hmm.
Okay, like actual teams. And then there was me by myself. I came in fourth in ribs, and it was hard doing ribs and chicken all by myself, having never done a comp against 19 teams. But I said to myself when I do my ribs, I'm like, I'm doing them my way. And obviously that means I'm cutting them to competition standard and I'm cooking to comp standard. But the flavor profile, okay, my flavor profile, it was sweet with heat. I wanted sweet with heat. I didn't just want sweet. I wanted sweet with heat, and I wanted the wood to come through. I wanted you to taste the smoke as any other ingredient. And I wanted you to know what type of wood I use. I wanted you to be able to taste that. To me, that's important. Like when I'm tasting a rib, I want sweet heat and I want to taste a mix of cherry and mesquite or hickory usually. So usually hickory and cherry with a dash of mesquite. That's my go-to. But to me, if I'm not really tasting smoke flavor, the rib is missing a huge part of what should be in the flavor profile. And some of the feedback I got from the judges was tasted great, but the smoke was heavier. Not dirty smoke, but a lot of smoke flavor
Right.
versus like the guy who won that comp, he literally didn't even use wood. He used all charcoal. And to me, it's like, well, how are you getting good smoke flavor with all charcoal? He's like, watch me. I know what I'm doing. And he does because it's formulaic, like you said, right? He knew the formula. The formula was barely to any taste of smoke and a sweet rib. I had a sweet heat and I wanted to taste smoke. And judges didn't like that. And it's funny because they actually told me they love the ribs, but they also said they can't win because That's not the formula.
Right. That's the issue. I mean, look, we're not. We have people that are competition cooks listening to this show. We have tons of competitors on the show, but we also are a show that backyard barbecue enthusiasts, like you said, like in the intro that I was talking about that with you, backyard barbecue. These backyard barbecue enthusiasts can listen and learn and appreciate, and so maybe we're not talking about who won the Saturday contest in somewhere in wherever, because that's not. We might have that team on, not even realizing that they won, because
Yeah.
we find them interesting and they have stories, and we love to talk about barbecue. But there are tons of people. Most people don't compete, right? There are tons of people that just want to cook good backyard barbecue, and
Exactly.
that's what you cook good backyard barbecue, right?
Damn right I do. And to your point, one of the things I've tried to do on some of my episodes, I borrowed some of my friends' equipment at times because I wanted to really get real about it. Like, again, going back to ribs, the average person is cooking ribs on a gas grill and they're cooking it at 375 degrees, and it's just not going to be great ribs. How can we fix that? So, talking about monitoring temperatures and getting your temps. I mean, if you got to work on a gas grill, you got to work on a gas grill, but how do you get your temps down? How do you get a smoke box in there? How do you get some wood chips going? All that stuff. That is how, not to make great barbecue, but how you go from making average at best to, hey, that's halfway decent barbecue at home. For most people, they don't have an offset Oklahoma Joe and they don't have a pile of cherry logs in the backyard. I do, which, by the way, looks bizarre because I live in downtown Powell in a fancy condo, and underneath my deck is all these grills and smokers and piles of wood. And, uh, but realistically, people don't have all that. So how do you make good stuff without it? And they can. And that's one of the things I'm passionate about, is trying to help people make the best with what they got.
You mentioned your cookers. How many do you have out there, and what do you use most?
I use my Oklahoma Joe reverse flow offset the most. It's just simply the best flavor. And you know what? It's not even a very efficient machine, but I would challenge you that it's hard to find a machine that's going to produce better barbecue, at least in small batches. It just works. It works so well. So I use that a lot. When I'm cooking at higher temps, I have a pit barrel cooker I like to use.
Hmm.
So that's my go-to for chicken. I tried to do some pork belly on it, and I screwed that up a couple weeks ago. The cook plan was fine. It wasn't that it was wrong. I just thought, okay, this could take 3 hours. At about 2.5 hours, I want to do some stuff to this, right? So at 2.5 hours, I go to do some stuff, and I was already 5 degrees past target temp. So
Gotcha.
I, that
Cook
that was a
fast.
mess up.
Yeah, cook
Yeah,
fast.
and I was cocky. My cocky
Uh,
ass thought, okay, I'm going to wait. I got plenty of time. I don't need to monitor anything. I don't need to monitor this. I'm going to go get into it when it's, at 180 internal. I'm going to do some. No, it was 205 internal. It was done. I messed up. It
Oh,
happens. I got those. I got a couple of Fire Discs. So Fire Disc sponsors me as well.
oh, cool.
It's not a smoker, but it's a really cool cooking device. Are you familiar with the Fire Disc?
No, I'm not. No,
no,
are you?
no, I'm not either.
Well, I got a big one and a small one. The small one's right over here. I'll just grab it real quick and show you guys.
Okay.
Sure.
So it has a little stand it goes on, which I'm not going to grab. But the Fire
Oh,
Disc
look at
is
that.
this thing.
Oh,
So this is the lid.
huh. It looks like a big saute pan.
Yeah.
It's like a hybrid of a wok and a
Yeah,
Blackstone.
yeah, that's what it
So
looks like.
the great thing is that you can pop popcorn on this. It's got a cool little grate I can put on it, and then steam fish. It's not for smoking, but it's so
Right.
cool for, oh, you want to do a jambalaya? We fried up beignets on it. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with it.
Paella, I'm
Oh my
assuming.
gosh, is that perfect? Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't done paella on it, but it's exactly perfect for paella.
You mentioned about screwing up on the pit barrel. Well, Len screwed up on the pit barrel. He put his hanging his ribs, and he goes in and does whatever, takes a shower or whatever. And next thing you know, there's all this smoke billowing out of the pit barrel. And
Bottom of the rack.
yeah,
Yeah. Can I just say one thing, Jeff? I'm letting you tell my story. It's kind of, I mean, when I'm gone, you'll tell my story. But let me just mention. So, Kelly, I was making the ribs. I had somebody in the family who had issues with their teeth. I wanted to make them very soft, and they were done. They were hanging by those hooks. You know the pit barrel,
Okay, I
hanging by
know
the
the
hooks.
hooks. Yeah,
Okay.
hooks on the bars.
So Jeff is right. I thought, you know what? It's almost done. If they're soft now, let me go in, give them some extra time. I went in the house, got a shower, get all the smoke off, right? Okay. When I came outside, there were billows of smoke. See, Jeff, you got to get the billows of smoke.
Billows.
Next time you tell the story, billows. There was smoke coming, but all of a sudden, when I had gone in the house, there was hardly any smoke left. When I came back out, billows, tons, just smoke everywhere. So I opened the lid, and the smoke, of course, hits you in the face, right? And through the smoke, I saw the hooks, and on one of the hooks, there was just a little remnant of meat. I cooked them too long. So even though I put them up on the bones where, they should stay,
Yeah,
they
third bone.
they came off.
They literally fell off the bone.
They were those were fall off the bone, and they were in the bottom of the pit, and they were causing the smoke. And so, but confession is good for the soul, and I like that you confessed your barbecue tragedy.
I like
noticed,
confessing it because people learn from that, and it's authentic.
right?
People don't want fake content, and I'm not
Right.
naming names, but when you see content and it feels really contrived, people don't want that. Just be real with people.
Well, Kelly, I would like to hear, because you're the guest, so Jeff will abide by what you would like. Would you like to hear one of Jeff's barbecue mishaps? Because I never hear
I
them.
would love. And then I got another one to share with you when you're done.
Jeff, do you have one for us?
Not that I remember. I mean,
See?
Oh, now that's bullshit.
I know, but I don't. I mean,
I've never screwed up barbecue.
I never screwed up barbecue. Please.
Oh, that's if you don't screw up. Who is it said if I forget who was it? Myron Mixon. Somebody said you have to, messing up is
Look,
getting
I don't
better.
practice. I don't practice with barbecue. I perfected it already.
Well, I like I told you guys on this show, I'll be honest with you guys. I learned barbecue by making bad barbecue
Right.
for years. For
Oh,
years.
I'm only kidding. I'm
learned.
sure. I'm sure I make a lot of bad barbecue. I just don't know if I messed it up or not. I just eat it anyway.
So I had this idea like a year ago for a video. I'm like, I want to make a spoof video. And it started off with let's take this 4-ounce little steak and it's frozen. And we're going to not only throw it on frozen, but I'm going to take a drill to drill holes in it so I can get the probes to go inside of it. It's just but the whole thing was I wanted it to have billows of dirt. You're talking about billows. I wanted billows of dirty smoke. And I'm like, I ain't doing that to my smoker. So I called my buddy. I'm like, I got this great idea. Can we do this on your smoker? And we put it. And so we just loaded up his smoke box with all kinds of dead grass and all the stuff, just so just dark gray, sooty smoke everywhere. And I'm sitting there on the video see, this is how, you make good barbecue. It should be lots of smoke. I'm doing it as a joke. When we were done, I couldn't open the door. It soot glued the door down. And you had to really, really yank it to get it to open back up. And I'm so glad I did not do that to myself.
This is fun. I have one, and I think Jeff was I think he was there for this. So before I got a smoker, I had a gas grill. It was this Sunbeam Grill Master, I think it was called. I got it at Sears, and I loved it because it had wire racks, so it had a lot of space. When you opened it up, it had 3 racks or whatever. But it was, it was plastic shelves and whatever. and I had it up near the house. By the way, this is a learning thing. Never put your grill near the house. I thought it was far enough away. And so I decided I'm going to make ribs. And what I did with the ribs was I made like a smoker packet, with wood chips and smoker packet. I didn't have a smoker, but I would try smoking the ribs.
Yeah,
So
you're
I
smoke
made it.
boxing.
I'm sorry?
You're smoke boxing, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Yeah.
made a drip pan. I wanted to keep my grill nice. So I made a drip pan out of foil. I made it pan. And I had the ribs over it, and they're dripping down and all that. Okay, ribs are done. I bring them in, and now I want my grill to be cleaned. So I put the fire now, which was off to one side, I put it on under
Oh, you
the
didn't.
drip pan. Yes. All of that grease from the ribs ignited. The lid was closed. Now, luckily, I had
Oh,
somebody at the
man.
house who was a volunteer fireman. Yet, Jeff, do you remember?
I wasn't there.
I think you came later. But anyway, he was a volunteer fireman who has since passed away. And we quickly grabbed the fire extinguisher and he put it out. And, well, the plastic shelves dripped down plastic shelving. So now I had dripping. Eventually it hardened and then I had and the fire came out because, there's space in the back,
Oh, yeah.
right? It closes in the front, but there's space in the back. And all the fire came out and the house was sided. And I got a little bit on the house where it charted a
Oh,
little
man.
bit, but not a fire. My house could have caught fire. Yeah, never put fire on underneath a drip pan. Big
So
mistake.
it reminds me, it's like last summer I visited my parents in Atlanta, and while I was down there, I'm like, I'm gonna make barbecue for you guys and content every night. And I did. But the first day I would go to see his smoker, it's one of these, it's a propane smoker, okay? And it's like, the size of, I don't know, yay big, a foot and a half big by foot and a half big by 4 feet tall, one of those
Yep.
with these racks. And I'm sitting there like, okay, I'm gonna clean this thing, and it's dirty as shit. And I'm spending a lot of effort cleaning this out. And my dad's sitting there. I remember I have it on this video, and I'm like, yeah, Dad, I'm cleaning all this stuff out. It's like, yeah, like I appreciate that. It still like doesn't quite work the same ever since the flash fire. I'm like, flash fire? He's like, oh yeah, there's a huge flash fire. The whole thing was burning. I'm like, no shit, there was a flash fire. You don't clean the damn thing. Like it's just
Right.
covered in grease and
Right.
you do realize you have to clean this, Dad, right? and the thing, so because I had that on video, I put that in my video. My dad was so embarrassed. My mom came to me that next morning and said, Kelly, your dad doesn't want to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this. He really wants you to take the video down. He's embarrassed. He's embarrassed by how dirty his grill was in the flash fire. Anyway, I thought it was funny.
No, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that I agree with you. It is. Kelly, so I can't believe that we're talking almost an hour with you. It's like we could just keep talking baseball and barbecue and whatever
Baseball,
else.
barbecue.
It's like we're meeting in a bar and we're just having a drink and we're just schmoozing.
By the way,
But-
that's something else. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Well, I was getting ready to to wrap, and so I want you to get your thought. But what I was going to ask you is, we like to think of this show as being unique, baseball and barbecue. I don't think there's another show like it. And when you first discovered baseball and barbecue, and you said it was the perfect topics for you, what was your first thought when you found baseball and barbecue? It's like, was this show made for me?
I don't know. It's like, is this real? It's almost like someone like actually came up with a show this specific, like for me. No, it's a great show. You guys
Thank
do a
you.
great job with it.
Thank you. My kids would say I'm looking for a compliment. I'm not. I just know you mentioned it. I'm glad that.
It was surprising to me. I did not think there was ever going to be a show out there called that.
No.
Well, We're glad that you
Yes.
enjoy it. Now, what was the you had another point?
I was just going to point something else out. So one of the things I found, and I'm not judging, but one of the things I found is really interesting about the barbecue community is everybody seems to be an alcoholic of one of two types. Either they're an alcoholic or they're a sober alcoholic like myself. But you don't see a lot of light drinkers and casual drinkers in the barbecue world. You see a lot of heavy drinkers and a lot of people who are sober because they already have been there enough in their lifetime,
Mm.
like myself.
Yes.
Well,
Well, Kelly, this has been a great hour. Please let us know where people can find you, and we'd like to have you back because we just didn't cover enough anything for this
I've
first
had a
I
segment.
don't, I
blast.
don't, yeah, I don't even, he had a blast and I don't even know what we talked about. I
That's
mean,
right.
we talked about everything. I mean, we could talk about more barbecue fails because
Yes.
I don't
So,
know. Jeff
Well,
has none, but we have. No.
I got another one, maybe two if I'm being really honest.
All right. So we'll get to those. We'll save those for the next time.
yes.
I want to hear more about the card collecting and just life in Ohio. But we're very appreciative that you joined us. Why don't you tell everybody how they can contact you, get to see your show, Kelly Belly Barbecue, and anything else you want to plug?
Yeah, so the really easy way to find me, just Google Kelly Belly Barbecue, and it's Kelly. I know there's many variations of how to spell Kelly, but I'm just Kelly. Kelly Belly Barbecue. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and on YouTube. The best place to find me is TikTok, simply because I engage the most there. I do live. You can come up and actually chat with me, message with me. You can message with me on all platforms, but check out my content. If you guys want to see it, I think what makes my content unique is I try to really deliver as quick and as fast as possible the story of not just here's my cook, look how pretty it is. There's a lot of that on the internet where you can see a 10, 20-second clip of the beautiful money shot at the end. And I have that, but I also try to show you what I'm cooking, how I'm cooking it, and teach you a little something. If you watch my videos, I'm actually providing some value, I think, in how to make good barbecue, not just the big fancy picture at the end. And I try to be halfway entertaining in the process.
Yes. Well, listeners, if you've enjoyed listening to Kelly, I am sure, and I saw some of his videos. They are very entertaining. So,
And you just
yeah,
gained another follow. I just did it as we were speaking.
Oh, thank you, Jeff.
yeah, I did it
Appreciate it.
before we went on the air. So he's got now two more,
I
and
appreciate it.
you should have a ton more after people
yes.
listen to this. We're like the Oprah Winfrey of podcasts. So you'll get.
Oh, should I check under my seat real quick, see if I want a car? You want a new smoker. You want a new smoker.
You want a lump of coal. You want a lump of coal. But you don't need that because you have by the way,
The charcoal.
that's a great company.
They run their business so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have
And
great.
it's really good charcoal too.
Yes.
Yes, it
Thus
is.
the name.
Kelly, will you come back on the show?
I'd love to. I'd love
Great.
to anytime.
Well, thank you very much, and we will. Best of luck, and it was great talking to you.
I appreciate it. Jeff, Leonard, enjoyed it.
Thank you, Kelly.